5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
So it is November, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, which is amazing. I feel like we normally don't have days or months where we could just really focus on our mental health, really sit back and just analyze how everything has been going for us mentally, how just to sit back and just reflect on our mental health, reflect on our well-being, and seeing where we're at. Of course, we don't need to be in any specific place. We just have to be present in this very moment, not thinking ahead nor behind. I feel like a lot of that stems from, a lot of that pressure stems from us just wanting to be in certain places that we're not in, and just putting extra pressure on us on top of all the other pressure that we already have had from our past, our childhood traumas, certain issues that we're going through at the very moment. I'm all sitting back and thinking about how a lot of my mental health issues stem from my childhood traumas. How a lot of how my brain got wired as a child really stemmed from all the issues I went through as a kid. Not wanting to really just jump right into it, but I guess I'm gonna have to. I remember being a kid, very young, in elementary school, maybe around the second, third grade. I remember, certain issues going on, and I remember the exact moment also just running upstairs. I don't know why I was sleeping on the ground at that time. We had a room, but I remember grabbing my blanket and just crying, not even understanding, like the pain or anger or whatever it was. But I remember, like balling up my fists and just asking God to just take my life away. I remember just being so unhappy and just so sad. Very, very, very sad. I remember just wanting to just end it all at a very young age, not even understanding that concept behind wanting to end your life, but I just remember not wanting to be there no more. And it was painful. But I feel like today, at 32 years old, certain moments still come up like that. I remember just feeling, just lost and just angry and just hurt. The crying has stopped, and I realized that has been another issue where, from holding back my tears now, I feel the physical pain physically. I feel the pain in my body from not wanting to cry and trying to be strong, or just not understanding to just let go of your tears, that there is a healing purpose behind it. But for some reason, my body just holds it in, which causes me bad physical pain. But going back to the point is that I feel like a lot of my mental health issues did stem from my childhood, because I still feel those issues occurring over and over and over again. But now I feel like they have spiraled out of control now, because now they latch on to alcohol, they latch on to anger, they latch on to substance abuse, and just very bad patterns of just behaviors. And I feel that this month is actually very great, because it allows us to just sit back and think about all these past issues and traumas and current issues and traumas, and being able to just move forward Um, Prior to all of this, I used to go through very dark moments, dark, dark moments where suicidal was always, or being suicidal was always an option. It was always an option because you were just tired of constantly reliving that dark or those dark moments. You just felt like this is it. And if I don't end it here now, it's going to continue happening. But believe me when I say this, if you continue, there is answers and there is a bright light door that opens up for you. And that door opens up, and it's not to say that you're not going to experience those dark moments again, because you will. But that door opens up to you and it gives you a chance to learn. And in the beginning, I would never learn. I would just sit in those dark moments and just think about just dark stuff and suicidal and the hurt and the pain and the anger and my dad and my parents and this and I'm not loved and my sexuality and just all of the above. But then you start understanding yourself and you start hearing yourself. Your voice becomes louder and everybody else's voice becomes very dim. You don't hear nobody else now you hear yourself. And in one of my downfalls, or one of my moments where I just closed off the world, I had I don't want to say awakening because that's jumping on a whole nother topic, but I had answered, or I had something answered to me that it allowed me to hear myself and really hear like what was my true issues and how they're not as big as I think they are, and how I was in control of what was going on in my life. That by holding on to all those past emotions and all those past traumas and all those past tears and just all that pain, that no longer served me. I had to find an outlet to get out of it. And thank goodness I had, writing or trying to be creative and, these outlets that did allow me to express all that pain. But in these dark moments, I was gifted with just hearing my own voice and closing off the full world from just all that loud noise. Because when you're in all that loud noise, it's hard to hear yourself and it's hard to hear what's really going on with you, because you're listening to your friends, your neighbor, just all of it, and you're not really paying attention to you. And so in these dark moments, I was able to hear myself and really sit down with myself and face myself in the mirror. Look at myself and say really what's going on. And through that, there was even issues where I thought that were so grand. And in reality, I was like, these are not even it. This is not even an issue. And I was able to knock that down, throw that off my back, take that 5-pound weight and throw it in the water where it belonged. And it was an amazing feeling. It was really good to be able to get to that point. And sometimes we're not gifted with that opportunity or those chances to just sit back, but we have to make it a priority. We have to make it a priority for us to just sit back and listen to ourselves. Because I'm fortunate, not fortunate, I take that back, but at the moment I don't have kids, I'm not married, it's just me. And I could just imagine just me by myself and the things that I go through is tremendous. And I can only imagine for a father or a brother or whoever who has a family, who has 2 jobs, who has bills, who has a mortgage, who has all this stuff on top of him, when do they find the break to just sit back for 24 hours and just say, I need to hear myself, I need to heal? It's impossible. And not even on top of adding all the machismo ism, where men don't do this, and you got to get your ass up and go to work and stop being a bitch and stop crying. You know, when that gets thrown in the circle, it's like, when would one ever heal? It's unfortunate that on the topic of men's health, mental health awareness, you know, there's a lot of men who are struggling with certain issues. We'll jump right into it. Sexual identity issues, where there's been stories where a lot of these men choose to take their own lives and to live truly who they are. And you know, that stems back on that concept of you know, being a man and not being able to express how you truly feel, and the pressure of the world and society and what they throw on you. It's challenging, very, very challenging. You know, there's a quote I got from somebody who I watched a little earlier, and you know, I'm paraphrasing here, but it says, or it goes something about, you know, when a person is contemplating suicide, the last person that they are thinking about is themselves. And anybody who has experienced this, you could relate, because when you're in that thought process, you're thinking about your mother, her tears. You're thinking about you're thinking about your little sister, about who she's gonna have to like laugh with or play, you know, whatever it is. You're just thinking about everyone else besides yourself. And as you can see, you know, there's still a lot of unhealed issues that I still deal with personally. But today I'm very blessed and very gifted to be able to speak in this mic and share this, even if it's just with myself, because now I understand there's something that I have to go back to and heal. I haven't talked to a lot of my siblings lately, and today I reached out to all of them, you know. But as I was reaching out to them, I thought about it. I said, man, I don't know why I'm in this pattern where I'm putting their emotions before mine. And I said, maybe this is my awareness. Maybe this is what I have to go through. But I was just thinking, making sure that they're okay. You know, these are all female siblings. But it gets better. It gets better. Back to the topic that I was talking about having that time for yourself to hear yourself. That's essential. That's key. It should be a virtue for life. It's just closing off all noise around you and just listening to yourself, healing, finding your purpose, finding who you are. I think during those times it has helped me tremendously to understand who I am. I'm still climbing the mountain. You know, I just got on, but I'm still climbing to the top of it. I have already learned so much. I have learned a lot about myself. I have learned a lot of my fears. I have learned a lot of things that I thought were huge in my life that were a big problem. They're really not. I have learned to cherish a lot of other people in my life that have been there. Another, you know, my older brother, my Irish twin brother, who is 10 months older than me. We're both born the same year, but I put myself in his position also, and I'm actually very grateful for him because he has been a true role model on top of all the issues that he has had to deal with in life. He is a father, he is a husband, he is so much more, and he still deals with everything. He has never been one to open up, and I could just imagine his mental health. I could imagine his well-being, going through everything that we went through growing up, and then on top of dealing with his own issues, and on top of being a father and a husband and all this stuff. It's like, how is he doing? But he, I think about him, and it allowed me those times off where I have to myself. It has allowed me to think about him also, how grateful I am to have him in my life, the impact he has had in my life. He has protected me since a little kid, but also the best friend I have in him, the friend I have in him. He is truly a friend. Not too many of us could say that we have friends. I have a friend in him. Yeah, things are not always great. Of course, things are never going to be great. And if you believe that, you should go back to the drawing board, because things are not always going to be great. There's always going to be issues. And I think we have to learn also how to put that in the mix of life. Even, a while ago, I was thinking about starting a business and this and that. And I said, onto that business plan, I have to add fights, problems, and just issues. I have to add on to that. I have to be prepared that I know there's going to be fights. I know there's going to be issues. And how am I going to go about to deal with those? One, I know I don't want to lose the people starting into this business. So I know I have to put that into play. But I know that we're going to have very heated arguments. And I know there's going to be words said. But that's part of the journey. And we have to accept that and not let that break us or break the issue or break the plan. It's just part of it. And a lot of us today, these issues occur, they arise, and automatically it's done. We're done, and you're dead to me, and this and that. It's just an issue that shouldn't go that way. But I was sharing my story a little earlier about how I feel a lot of my mental health today stems from my childhood traumas and what I went through. It's true, I do feel that. But yeah, this is actually really good to be able to talk and just let everything out. And the topic is, for November, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. A little earlier I was talking about, my childhood and how I feel like a lot of that stems from me having my mental health issues that I have today at a 32-year-old man. A lot of those issues stem from just hurt, abandonment issues. It's to really sit back and think about like all those traumas and how they build build the issues that you have today. It makes sense. It makes sense because for example, having issues with your parents, right? I realized today my issues with my parents stem from I have trust issues. Dealing with abandonment issues down the line, you're gonna build up trust issues where you can't trust people, and I'm learning that about myself. I'm learning that my trust issues stem from all those abandonment issues, those hurts, feeling that someone's gonna love you and the next day just leave you. So it's like, how could I trust you if I know tomorrow you're gonna leave? Your identity issues. Not being okay with who you are because you feel like the people who love you are gonna judge you and not love you no more because of who you are or who you choose to love. That's a huge issue that we're actually still working on, but it's getting better. My story, like many others, hasn't been great. It's been tough. I was just talking to one of my cousins who is a huge a positive role model in my life. And we were discussing how we've been dragged through the mud, meaning, we have experienced so much trauma at a very young age, even before we were even adults to be able to make our own decisions. I think that's when all those traumas really happen. But it's a gift and a curse at the same time, because it allows you to grow and become so much stronger, because you're able to, build that shield where it's like, I've been through so much more and I could overcome this. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't see that shield that they have built, and that they're protected and that they're well. Because a lot of people choose to not continue. And, to all those people, it's like, we're still here fighting. We're going to continue to fight. We're not going to give up. We're going to go. And to everybody who has chose to, take the next step, we're all still here, and your forever would be remembered and loved. And we're going to continue fighting, like they say, the good fight. It's unfortunate that a lot of us don't see our true gifts and our true potential in this world. And I feel that one of our main gifts, I think that we all have and that we all carry, but a lot of us don't really put it out there, is being able to help out others. My true goal in anything that I do is to be able to help out somebody else. My true goal within this podcast is not to get this big house and get these fancy cars and jewelry and all. That's not it. My true goal with this podcast is to truly help out other people. My goal is to be able to get this podcast out there for other people who are struggling, who don't see a way out, who need a voice. Sometimes in life, we just want to hear someone look at us directly into the eyes and say, you're strong. You're going to make it. You don't even understand the potential that you have within yourself. You're beautiful. Your person's going to come. Or a hug. To truly feel a real, genuine connection with someone, and just a hug. And say that everything's going to be okay. Keep your chin up. It's amazing just to hear that. Or just, sometimes that we're missing is just those little words. And that's my goal within the podcast, is to be able to offer that to somebody, my neighbor, whoever it is, anybody, everybody, to be able to offer that to them. Because a lot of times, especially in today's day and age, the focus is on celebrities and music and drama and the fight and, all this stuff, which I'm not throwing shade on. I'm not, throwing bad things on it. But what about that mother with 6 kids that's working 3 jobs, don't see her kids are running crazy, don't have food in the refrigerator? What about her struggle? What about when she wants to quit, but she doesn't because she has those 6 faces that she looks at every day and that she's fighting for? What about her voice? That's why I do this, is I want to be able to put a spotlight on that. And any way that we as human beings could help, to kind of relieve that 5-pound weight off her shoulder. Because we're all walking down the same path. We're all going to the same destination. It doesn't matter what type of car you have, what type of house you live in, how many plates you eat off a day. We're all walking to the same path. And during that walk, I want to make sure that I could do anything to help out anybody else, because I know that when I was a kid, how amazing it would have felt to felt that with somebody, that helped out my family. Or that I remember on Christmas, our story was, we were poor. We were very poor for whatever circumstances. We lived in, those apartment complexes where you paid like $20 a month because your parents can't afford. My mother was single. She had 6 kids. And I remember one Christmas, cold, the fire department came and they brought a full bag of toys. And I remember they had like they had like a bunch of toys, man. But that, I didn't even think about like we're poor or whatever. It just felt so good as a kid to receive all those gifts. It was a lot of gifts, actually, maybe because we were 6 of us. But it felt so good. I felt so good and warm to receive those gifts from that fire department. And shout out to that fire department that did that, because it really does make a difference. And not too long ago, I seen on the news that the local fire department where I'm at, they were short on toys. Nobody donated. It was tough. It was like right after COVID. Nobody could donate it. And I was thinking about all those kids who are not going to receive toys, who are just going to feel that cold feeling in their home. And it broke my heart. And with the grace of God and the universe, and I did my part. I try to donate it as much as I can. And the next day, or I think it was like the next day or so, a couple of days later, I seen on the news that they finally received all the bikes that they needed. They received all the toys. It felt good. It was the best feeling I could feel, because I felt those other kids who were going to receive those gifts. And it's just a good feeling. And back to the main topic, to what I was saying, is with this podcast, I want to make sure I want to help out others. I want to share other people's stories. I want to put their stories out there, because I want to see us as human beings, how we can do to help out each other. Even if it's just a uplifting message, a couple of words, a prayer, whatever it is. I want to be able to show our true potential and our gifts, which is very easy, and we all have it. We all carry it. It's just about us digging in to find it and share it with others. Things are going to get better. Things will get better for you. You just got to keep your head up. And if there's any advice that I could give you, is that you have all the tools that you need. You have everything. It's just about finding your true strength and your potential, what you have. You have it within you. You're smart. You're capable of reaching anything that you want. It's just about understanding what is it truly that you want and how you're going to get it. That's one thing that I had to discover about myself. I tell myself every day, and I put out my 2 hands and I look in my hands and I say, the world is yours. The world is right there in your hands. What are you going to do with it? And that's a true question. What are you going to do with it? We all have the power and the strength to do what we want and how we want it, but it's just about digging in and really finding the process of going about to get that what you want. I'm 32 years old and I'm still discovering who I am. A while ago I thought, I was like, okay, I do know who I am. I'm a spiritual being, and I was listening, I was like, okay, that's me. But it's much more than that, and it's about putting in the work to try to discover these things. It will get better. It will be great. But I'm gonna leave off with just answering these last few questions, and we'll go from there. What is mental health to you? Mental health to me is a state of your well-being. Mental health to me is unpackaging all those traumas that we have inside and healing from them. Understanding what they are, understanding that we have the control to respond how we want to respond to them, and understanding that everything's okay how we feel within those traumas. We all carry mental health in different forms, but we all have it. It's just about how we're going to go about responding to them. I feel that's what mental health is to me. When have you experienced mental health? Oh man, I experience mental health really when I experience mental health, or recently it's been at least twice a year. Back then it was, just dealing with depression and anxiety and, these issues. But recently it has been very more traumatic. It's been, these mental health issues that I go through, these stages it could last anywhere from a week to a month, all the way to 3 months. This last mental health experience that I have went through was, and I haven't shared this with no one. Everybody thinks, or honestly, maybe they don't even care. But the last mental health issues that I did experience was a couple of weeks ago, where I was just closed off with the world for months. I don't even remember the months. I just know it started when I quit my job. And I could go back to figure out the dates, but it started when I quit my job, and it just ended a couple of weeks ago. I closed off the world. I didn't want to hear anybody. Lost tremendous weight, mentally just wasn't there, was going down a path of darkness, meaning, my mental health issues. And then during that time I was able to, close off the world, hear myself. And for some reason, every time these stages happen, there's so much growth in that, actually. And I feel that it's because I close off all the loud noise around me. I close it off, and I'm able to hear myself and see my actions and see what I'm doing, and grow and learn from them. And that was my most recent mental health experiences that I have had. And which I'm saying that it wasn't it, because I know life throws you so many curveballs, and I know things happen, but I know I'm prepared. I know, I talked to my sister about this. I know when I go through my stuff, I'm gonna come out of it. I know it's just my body and my mind just saying, you need to chill out. Like, you feel something coming up, you need to just sit back and just chill. And I listen to that. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, we never know, but I just go with my instincts. To add to that question, part 2 of the question about when have you experienced mental health, part 2 question is, what was going on and how did you overcome it? I kind of already added to that, but I'm going to add a little more. What was going on when I experienced my mental health breakdown that lasted, this one was actually the longest one, I feel. It lasted a couple of months, where I just closed off the world. It was just me. I didn't leave my house. I stayed in my house. I wouldn't walk out. I would get anxiety going out. It was a bad time. But honestly, what caused it was, I work in a very male-dominated field, and me experiencing issues with my sexuality. I feel being in that male dominated field really causes emotional and mental issues with me, because every day I've been in this field for 10 plus years. This has been something that I have done for a very long time, and I feel that every day I walk in those doors or walk through that gate or walk onto that job site, I'm not me. I portray what they want me to be. I portray who they want me to be, or what that environment is, which I know it's not me, but I fear losing that group. I fear losing those relationships and bonds that I build with other, men on there and other people who I, feel that have respect for me, and that I also have respect for them, regardless of the situation that I feel. But walking onto these job sites every day and having to be somebody else, it takes a mental toll, and I'm just realizing that now, because I'm finally being honest with myself. But every day going into their, even certain conversation topics where I never get involved in the topics, because I don't like to lie about certain things in that aspect, about relationships and about all this other stuff, because that's just not me. I know, the relationships that I have, but of course I can't share that, because who wants to hear two men dating each other, or especially in that situation? But that's what was going on, going to work every day in that male dominated field and having to be somebody else. It takes the hugest mental toll, and I collapse. Others want to use other terms, but I collapse, and my mental breaks down, and I close off the world. And it sucks, because it has cost me a lot, financially, emotionally, physically, mentally, all of the above. It has cost me so much, but I'm getting stronger in that aspect. I'm getting way stronger. I'm starting to understand myself more, love myself more, and not value other negative opinions or comments about me, because I know that's not who I am, and I have to go back and remember who I am. How did I overcome to get out of that dark place that I was in? I don't know how to explain it. I do believe I'm a very spiritual person in all aspects. I do believe in God. I believe in the universe. I believe in energy. I believe in all of the above. That works for me. But I honestly feel that these last couple of times that I have had my mental breakdown, something physically, it's hard to explain, something physically wakes me up and says enough's enough. And the next couple of days after that is challenging, because you really do take a mental, it really does take a mental, physical toll on your body, where everything is disrupted, because your sleeping patterns have been off, your eating patterns have been off, everything has been disrupted. So the next couple of days are very challenging. But then after that, you feel focused, you feel determined, you feel okay, I got a path to walk down now, I have somewhere to go, and it's a good feeling. But back to the question is, how you overcome those dark places that you go in, or the mental breakdowns that you experience. It's just something in my body that says enough is enough. You got what you needed. I feel like you got lessons. I got lessons that I needed to hear myself. I got a chance to understand myself a little more, and my body just says, let's go. And it stops. And then I start, just building myself back up. But down the line, we can have another conversation about this, is that this has happened before, and I I get that feeling where it's like, okay, let's go. I feel better. And then I crash again because of that pressure or that speed that I'm going in of excitement, where it's like I don't pay attention to that. I'm going too fast and I'm focusing on things that I don't need to focus on. And my body gets tired and it crashes. But that is, hopefully that answers that question. Is, how I overcome is just something that happens physically that says, okay, enough's enough. Let's move on. Last question. Any advice you can give any other man out there who has experienced mental health issues at the current moment? Yes, and for, November, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, my advice to any men out there is seek out someone to talk to. And I know, trust me, I've been there, done that. You can't talk to no one. Seek out someone to talk to. Seek out anyone, an auntie, an uncle, a brother, a sister, a friend from school or work, even if you feel that they're gonna judge you. Because most of the time when we go through things, we just want to be heard, or we just need to let out what we're holding in, and if you can't reach that, write yourself a letter. Write yourself what you're feeling, what you're going through. Write it. It's better to write it down because, we're constantly thinking in our head. And by you writing it down, I feel like it's another outlet to let go or let out what you're feeling. But find that person, find that outlet where you could release what you're feeling. And also not to give up. In life, the day that we chose to quit is it. And let me tell you that life is beautiful. Maybe not every moment, but that's part of life. And when we sign up to continue life, is we sign up for that, the good and the bad moments. And let me tell you that it's always brighter the next day. It's, just not to give up. These issues come and go, but it's up to us to take advantage of them, grab them by the horn, and take control of them. That's the lesson, that every time we experience a dark, challenging, tough issue in life, it's our lesson to figure out, okay, I'm gonna get on top of this and I'm gonna have control over this. Okay, and we gotta just understand what's going on, how to respond to it, and move forward from it. Because there's no quitting. It's only moving forward, learning from our lessons, growing from them, and sharing them with others so they could also have the tools and the knowledge that they need when they're going through these issues. So my advice, do not give up. Find that hand, find yourself, and just keep on moving forward. Quitting is not an issue. We got to keep on moving forward. Life is so much beautiful. Life is great. Life is amazing. There's, of course, life, there's going to be dark times, there's going to be hard times, there's going to be tough times. But that's why we're here, is because we're able to overcome it, to learn to overcome it and move forward. Don't stop. Keep going. Have faith. Find your faith. Find who you are. Find what really balances you, what really grounds you, and move forward. You got this. You cannot quit. Love you guys all, and just stay focused. I'm here for anything you guys need. Thank you.